SATs, you scored a 78. I love that math section, man. I kicked ass on the math. That English section sucks. It sucked. I hated the English. I'm like, no, don't make me do the English. Let me do the math twice. Just I get 1600 math, 0 in English.
Hey there, and welcome to Comedy in Place, the comedy show that comes to you from my office, sheltered in place here in my home in Southern California. I am your host, engineer, comedian Don McMillan. That's what today's show is all about, engineers. Yes, engineers, my people. Yeah, let's hear it for engineers. Yeah, give me a binary high five. 1, 0, 1. Yeah, we rule. Yeah. If you didn't get that joke, you're probably not an engineer. If you are an engineer, you probably like that joke. So we're celebrating us today. We're celebrating engineers, and we're so misunderstood, really, engineers. People think, we don't have fun, we're not emotional, we don't get moved by things, but we do. We do. It's just, we're moved by different things than most people. And for me, for example, I get really upset as an engineer if I see something that's unorganized, or it doesn't make sense, or this really gets me, if something is that is totally inefficient. There's such a better way to do that. Why do they do it that way? That's how we get upset. And everybody knows an engineer has an engineer in their life, a brother, a sister, a spouse, a cousin, and we need to get along, right? We need to appreciate engineers because we all do different things in life. So today is all about engineers and the people who love them, just a way of getting along and understanding those of us in our life and really appreciating them for who they are. So the opening clip really was talking about some of the signs that you're an engineer, some of the characteristics that you're an engineer, and there'll be more of that coming later. It's a live bit from a comedy show, and so stick around at the end of today's episode. There'll be more live comedy. In the meantime, the Comedy in Place bit today I'm going to do is talking about the early signs of engineers. When I was a kid, there were some signs I was going to grow up to be an engineer. So what are those signs? Maybe your kid's going to grow up to be an engineer. This may help you. And it's really an homage to Jeff Foxworthy, who for years, if you remember this bit, it's a great bit. He did the, you might be a redneck if. Remember that? You might be a redneck if such and such. And I thought I would do my own kind of nerdy engineer version. That is, when you were a kid, if you did this, you might be an engineer someday. So that's how this bit works. So here we go. Here comes the first one. You ready? When you were a kid, if you referred to your parents as your system administrators, you're probably going to grow up to be an engineer. Yeah. When you were a kid, if you didn't know your home address, but you knew your GPS coordinates, you're definitely going to grow up to be an engineer. Trust me on that one. Yeah. When you were a kid, if you played with Lincoln logarithms, you are already an engineer. You are. In fact, if you know what a logarithm is, you're an engineer. You're an engineer. A couple more. Hang in there. When you were a kid, on your Little League team, were you the starting statistician? No, gotta love that big data. Yeah, analytics. Yeah, baby. Woohoo! Starting statistician. That's me. Yeah. And then finally, when you were a kid, if you got an A in calculus and a D in gym, you definitely grew up to be an engineer. Trust me on that one. You're an engineer. So learn to love and appreciate the engineer in your life. In fact, if you have an engineer, just go up and hug them now. Just hug them. They won't like it. They don't like being touched, but hug them anyway. Let them know I love you. We need engineers. We all need each other. So I hope you enjoyed that. If not, stick around. There's more video coming up later on at the end of this episode. In the meantime, stay well. Keep laughing. Here comes your video.
I would celebrate being an engineer for a while, because there's a lot of things about being an engineer that make it very unique. For example, remember Jeff Foxworthy did You Might Be a Redneck? Why don't you do this for engineers? So here you go. You know you're an engineer if, when you got married, you registered at Fry's. Anybody? I love Fry's. I do. I just love Fry's, and it's any place you can go and get it, like you eat makes a ram, a quart of milk, and underwear. Where else can you get all that shit? I'm at home at Fry's, and I must look like every time I go to Fry's, somebody comes up and goes, "Excuse me, can you answer a question?" I'm like, "I don't work here." They go, "I know, that's why I'm asking you." You actually know the answer to that question. You know, you're an engineer. You choose a restaurant based on how good the Wi-Fi is. Apparently, that's two. You know, you're an engineer. On forms, you give your home address as 216.27.6. We're wooing that. It's so wrong. Only in Silicon Valley. It's an IP address joke. 42 shirt. People go, no, Jackie Robinson. I go, who's he? That's the answer to the meaning of life right here. What are you talking about? You know, you're an engineer. You sleep with someone on the first date, but you won't share passwords until the third date. I'm not ready for that kind of commitment, I'm sorry.